pretending to make converted barns that have been turned into houses in The Sims for years. But now that we have the horse ranch pack and all of these new barn items, I feel like we can actually make one of these. We finally have real barn doors and stuff, so I think today I'd like to try to make a converted barn house, but I'm gonna try to do it as a starter home. So we've got 20,000 simoleons and a big empty lot, and I'm gonna try to turn this into space for at least a couple horses and 1 or 2 Sims. I guess if we're aiming to have like 4 Sims, we could probably have a little bit extra money, but I'm gonna try and keep the price down. The lucky thing about this lot is we have this attached almost like pasture for our horses. It's not really on our lot, it's just in the environment next to our lot, but we could totally use this to train with the jumps and stuff. So we don't really need to build a pasture or put any jumps on this lot, so that'll help save some money and space. Also, my cat is sitting behind me right now, so if you see this little brown thing moving behind me, don't be alarmed, it's just a cat. She's asleep right now, so I doubt she'll move much, but I just wanted to warn you in case she like stood up and you randomly saw this thing moving in the background. I hate the color red. I know I always joke about this, but genuinely, it's like my least favorite color of all time. I just feel like for this house though, it might be kind of fun to do a bright red barn. Kind of like the classic barn you think of when you imagine a barn in your head. I love how we have a couple variants of the barn doors and this one is actually closed. One thing that I'm not really 100% sure on is how big we should make this. I guess it just depends how much space we need for the roof. I was originally picturing that it would be something like this with a small upstairs. I think that shape makes sense for the main building, and then we could add a couple wings on either side. I guess I'm also not really sure where the horse is gonna go, because are we gonna have all of this be house? Or maybe should this part become stable? Because we could maybe do some fences and columns over here and then have the horse live on that side. I might even make the whole place a little bit longer because we've got the space on the lot. I don't really know if I can afford all this, but I'm gonna try my best to make it work. This might be a really weird and kind of bad idea, but I almost want to steal some of the space from the house for the horse. Mostly because I don't have enough space for a horse bed, so I kind of have to. But we could do this and put the horse sort of back there in the corner. What do you think would happen if I just extended this even further? Do you think the horse can still get into this if the bed is kind of tucked away in the corner like that? Because I feel like they should be able to. I don't even have a horse in this household to test it. I didn't make one, so I guess we'll find out. I guess I could just steal more from the house. That would be good. Ooh, we could use this cool sliding door into the house. Okay, maybe we could have the staircase in this back corner, and then the front part of the house could be a kitchen, maybe a small living room over here. Honestly, I could probably steal some more space from the house for the barn. If we did it like this, I could have a fireplace. Maybe there could be a couch over here. You know, maybe I'll just go through and make sure that I've bought all of the necessities. I have a functional kitchen. The dining room could be kind of over here in the corner. Those chairs are expensive. What if there's no door into the barn? I might also make the house smaller again because we'll get a little bit of money back that way. Okay, keep in mind that I'm not gonna keep this color scheme. I'm just trying to make sure we've bought furniture. I think I'll open up this part above the stairs and then we can have kind of a lofted area and maybe a second bedroom up here. A lot of this horse ranch furniture isn't really that expensive. Like this cabinet's only 175 simoleons. We can get a coffee table. I would love to use this dollhouse, but I kind of think that it's a little bit ugly. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest. The kids' bedroom could probably get away with just a bed and the dollhouse. I'm gonna make sure I go through and get all the necessary horse stuff too. Luckily, it's not that expensive. Like the horse ball is only 30. The animal feeder and the water trough are 50 each, so we can afford those. Okay, I'm realizing that I kind of forgot about windows, so I need to go through and add some of those around. I like this big window on the top, and thankfully these little windows are only 25 simoleons, so that saves us some money. I think I'd like to add shutters though. Does that look so weird? It might look a little weird because these shutters are obviously too small for the window. I guess these shutters aren't really made for these windows, huh? Oh, I wanted to use them. I feel like it's a nice touch. I'm not really loving how this looks right now, but maybe once we get some wallpaper, it'll look a little bit better. I was thinking about painting the whole place red, and I guess we could use the new roof type. I guess maybe if I did that and then got some extra columns around the place as an accent. Oh, this is not very cute. I think it has to have a white trim on the roof. It's not terrible. I think with some landscaping and some extra decor pieces, it'll come together. I do want to make sure that we buy wallpaper inside first. You know what else would help? Just literally having floors, any floors. The horse pack has this nice paneling in it, but I don't know if I want to use that. I guess it's a good starting point because it pays for some sort of wallpaper, and then we can come back and adjust colors later. Maybe if we got a nice big sign at the front of the ranch. How much is that? 500. Okay, I think it's worth it. We'll just do debug landscaping. It's gonna be fine. And then we'll do a bunch of terrain paint in here to try and fill up the rest of the lot because we can't afford anything else. What do you put in the bottom of a horse's stall? Do they just have like dirt? I don't actually know. Look at how cute this little rug is. Oh my God, I have to use that. This rug has some red on it. It just, it just doesn't really fit is the problem. I guess I could size it down. I need to grab a trash can before I forget. And I really want to have upper cabinets. I think I've paid for everything absolutely necessary. I'd like to go back in and decorate a little bit better, but I'm gonna stop for a second and work on the exterior. If you type bb.show hidden objects and then bb.show live edit objects, you can get into the debug cheats. And this shows you a bunch of the landscaping and items from around the world. So things like these little plants we'll have access to. I'm gonna do that and then get into all the horse ranch stuff because we're gonna have some free landscaping options. They'll have a lot of the same things that you can buy with money, like this tree, for example, except instead it costs 0, which is what we need for this build because we don't have any money left. But then it also has some extra stuff that we don't have access to in the regular build catalog, like these low-lying plants. I'm gonna hide the trash can back behind them there. I also like these big giant bushes to use for places like this too. That fills in loads of the extra space. Oh, look at these. There's like some cute little running horse sculptures. Maybe I can put that in the front yard. What I was really looking for is this set of plants though, because there's these cute low-lying red flowers. And we've got this red theme going on with the build, so I'd like to use these around the place. What if I just raise them up a tiny bit and then stick them on top of the other bushes? Yeah, I like that. It adds a nice little bit of detail. Genuinely, I have no idea how you're supposed to landscape builds without debug, especially budget builds. But just in general, the debug items for the most part are better than the regular items. There's actually a couple other little cute debug decor items like these hay bales. Maybe I'll stack a couple of these in the corner. How much do you think those barrel racing things cost? 100 simoleons. Oh, maybe I could put one up in the corner. It doesn't really fit that well on my lot, which is kind of annoying. I guess it does if you put it in the corner, but I didn't really plan around this when I was building, so it seems like kind of a random addition. This item is a big giant storage chest, and you can use it to put things like your horse poop or any crops that you have. I think I'll keep that in this bedroom just because we've got space for it. Well, this is terrible. The only good swatch on the bed is blue. I know, everything I make is blue. I'm sorry. I actually tried. I tried really hard this time for it to not be blue. I made a red house, but like, what other swatch am I gonna use? I don't like this one. I could use this. It's got some cool green and blue accents. I think I'd like to use some tile in the kitchen. Does this reddish tile look good with the brick floor? Oh, look at this cute little kitchen clutter. Okay, I'm gonna use that because it's only 30 simoleons. I feel like we probably can't put anything else in the kitchen. That's okay though, it looks nice. This is kind of the color scheme that I was thinking for the interior. I might just use a nicer light above this table. We could definitely use this cool reddish toned couch. These little plants are easy because they're only 60 simoleons, so we can kind of put them around the place a little. I don't know if we can afford that much clutter in this room. What can I put on this table? Maybe just a book? Upstairs in the hallway, I don't have much. I did put some music in here because I liked the idea of having some way to play music. Maybe a plant could be a nice addition. The kids' bedroom, I have not even remotely begun to think about, so maybe we could have the dollhouse sized down so that you can see more of this cute rug. They can have a little lamp, and then maybe I'll put a cuter wallpaper that has some more pattern to it. Honestly, this little floral one might be kind of nice. I'm scared to put too much more in here because I don't want to spend all the money. Does this pack have any really cheap dressers? Oh, there's a sturdy clothing rack for only 50. There we go. That is perfect. It's cheap. It gives us some extra furniture. It fills in the space. I didn't really touch the bathroom yet either. Maybe I'll use the same tile in here. Should I get a fancier shower? I feel like it looks kind of bad. Toilet paper is 50 simoleons, but I think it's worth it because otherwise we can't have like any other decor in here. Maybe a cheap hand towel. The robe is, oh my God, the robe is 80 simoleons? That feels really extreme to me. Maybe no robe. Honestly, no robe and no toilet paper. We don't need that. I might use a little side table instead. I kind of forgot that we don't have any books anywhere in this house, so I might put one of these little bookshelves on the side table instead. And maybe like a little plant as the coffee table decor. Okay, I think think that's everything I wanted to buy. Now I just want to go through and add some extra terrain paint. We'll want to get a bunch of dirt underneath all of the landscaping, but also I'm thinking dirt kind of surrounding the house. And then what I really wanted to do was layer terrain paint on top of the path that we made. There's like a darker line around the edge. Terrain paint is hard in this game because it always just looks so weird when it just ends. So I like to put a couple extra little bits around the sides just to make it blend in a bit more. But I think on that note, this build might be done. I think this turned out really cute. I'm kind of surprised at how big it is too, considering it's only 20,000 simoleons. I'm looking forward to playing in this. Well, I think on that note, I'm gonna get this uploaded to the gallery so you all can download it, and I'll probably end this video right here. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Have the best rest of your day, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay? Bye, everybody. I have been building so much with this pack. It has like sparked so many ideas for me. I have been loving it.